In 2 years of marriage, he never touched me, but his assistant left lipstick on his collar. After 2 years of marriage, my husband Gaudy Graves and I had never shared a room tonight, however. He'd prepared the bedroom with candles and soft lighting, and I thought he might finally want to close the distance between us to deepen our relationship. But as I waited trying to hold back my nerves, he opened the door with his assistant Lucy Peterson trailing behind. Without looking at me, he said indifferently, "Mopwio, I need to meet a work deadline tonight. Lucy will help me and we will be working in my room." My heart twisted as Lucy shot me a smug, knowing smirk. I felt like a stranger in my own home, reduced to some background character in their little show. I could hear them in the next room, laughing and flirting hours. Passed before I gathered the nerve to walk in hand Gaudy a pillow and force the words out, "Touch known, it's late. Here, so you can share the bed." A brief flash of guilt flickered in Gaudy's eyes, but he quickly countered, his voice edged with irritation. "Brew, what's that's supposed to mean? We were working on a project. If I wanted to do something with her, I'd just book a hotel and not take her here." His shirt was wrinkled and a faint lipstick mark smeared on his collar was enough to give him away. He didn't even care to hide it anymore. For once I didn't shrink back. Meeting his gaze, I kept my voice firm. Without missing a beat, he threw the pillow back in my face and sneered, "Month this again? Reef dot this again? You were always looking for something to fight about. Just go to your bed, I dote." His words stung, a familiar venom twisting through them as if I were the unreasonable one here. Lucy stayed on the bed, smirking as if it were all a sideshow for her entertainment. I pulled out my phone, snapped a picture of them, and shut the door before Gaudy could react. I sent the photo to his parents, writing a simple message. "I'm sorry, but I can do this anymore. Jody and I are over." It didn't take long for his phone to ring, his mother's voice, loud enough to echo down the hallway. He rushed to reassure her, smoothly weaving his lies. "No, Mom. Of course I'd never do that. Lucy and I are just working. Where else could I take her at this hour? You want me working in the streets?" A few minutes later, he stormed into the room where I was, simmering with anger. "I'm just trying to do my job, but you were too wrapped up in your suspicions. Did you forget that I'm the one bringing bread to the table while you do nothing? Grow up." I stayed silent, watching him walk away, his laughter mingling with Lucy's, echoing down the hall. I went to the closet, pulled out a suitcase, and began packing. This marriage was never about love. Jody and I were childhood sweethearts who'd been together for over 20 years. We got married because he felt pressured by his family. "Why don't we get married?" he'd ask one night, as if solving a puzzle. For years, I told myself this marriage was a blessing, a twist of fate that brought me closer to the person I'd loved since we were kids. But reality was different. On our wedding night, he had laid it out bluntly. "I am not even slightly interested, so is it okay if we sleep in separate rooms?" For 2 years, I kept my end of the bargain, but the emptiness grew as I watched him build a life without me, indifferent to the toll it took. 3 months ago, Lucy entered our lives and everything shifted. Suddenly, he had a spark, new energy, and each day he treated me with more impatience and disdain. You were boring, you were boring, you were boring. But his affair with Lucy became more intense this time. He had brought her straight into the master bedroom for hours. Heartbroken, I stuffed a few belongings into a suitcase, heard him teasing Lucy in the bedroom, her giggles ringing out, and resolutely opened the front door, stepping out into the night. The next morning, I woke up in the guest bed of my parents' empty house to the ringing of my phone. Still half asleep, I answered, knowing exactly what awaited me.